Hey guys, how is everybody doing? The month that was September is officially come and gone, and we are now officially also in week 2 of the month of October. Oh my god, that is scary to think about. We are almost over with this year. We have about 2-ish months left. That is fucking scary to think about. But anyways, today I'm going to be ranking all six. Was it six? No, five. Excuse me, all five September movies that I watched during the month of September, and I'm going to be ranking them all from worst to best. And before I get started, I don't think there was a bad movie on this list. If anything, my bottom two are mediocre at best. Decent month for movies, kind of getting into the October-ish season, and we are now officially in Halloween season. And so I saw five movies during the month of September. Didn't see much. At the same time, I had my wisdom teeth removed around a week left of September, so I didn't get to see like movies like The Wild Robot, unfortunately. But I got to see five. I think that's good enough. And with we are now in October. Let's talk about some September movies one final time. You know what? Since it's October, I should decorate for October. Done. Coming in at number 5, my least favorite movie of the month of September 2024 is going to be the Rosemary's Baby prequel, Apartment 7A. Now, leading up to this movie, I had never seen the first Rosemary's Baby, so yeah, take away my horror license apparently. And it was never a movie I was very interested in. I never thought in my life I'd actually check it out because there was also controversy with the director. There was things about like the actress stuff going on at the time apparently, and she's having some issues going on later on the early apparently. Stuff's going on with her apparently from what I'm hearing. I don't know anything about that. So I never really wanted to check out the movie, and then I found out that out of nowhere, really, that a prequel to this movie was coming out called Apartment 7A. Now, apparently, the Rosemary's Baby takes place in an apartment complex. I did not know that whatsoever. I didn't know anything about Rosemary's Baby, honestly. All I knew is that it was about a girl giving birth to the Antichrist. That's all I knew. And I saw Dick advertisement for this movie. Not one advertisement. I saw that it premiered at Fantastic Fest this year. A lot of people that I follow on YouTube who do movie reviews as well, they said it was okay. It was a decent film at best, and it's at least worth a watch. I was like, okay. And this was around the time I was still healing from my wisdom teeth, and so I was just like, you know what? I'm healing. I don't have my schoolwork yet. I don't know. I don't feel very good. I might as well leading up to the new one with the new Rosemary's Baby prequel. I might as well. I watched the original Rosemary's Baby, and all I'll say about that film is that is not a movie I love or enjoy really. That is more of a movie I respect. That's a film that I very rarely say. It's a film that I respect. So I respect Rosemary's Baby, and I didn't really have a lot of hope going into this one. And honestly, it was a damn good time. I honestly didn't expect to enjoy this movie as much as I did. Now, yes, I will agree it is pretty much a it's basically Rosemary's Baby all over again, but what else do you want from a prequel to Rosemary's Baby? There's not really anything you can answer. And this movie also is very unnecessary in a way because like when you watch that first movie and some of the things they kind of hint at or kind of give you clues at, you can kind of figure out for yourselves and kind of have your own imagination to it. But this movie is just like, no, money, we have rights to it, make it. And so that's all all this movie really is. It kind of feels more like a cash grab, if anything. But yet again, it's a direct streaming film, so I can't really say it's a cash grab. But overall, Apartment 7A, it's decent. I think the best part about this movie is the lead actress. I forget her name. I think her character's name is Audrey or something like that. I could be wrong. I'm probably very wrong. Please correct me. But I thought her performance in this movie was very good. I wouldn't be surprised if some people would say that she should be nominated for an Oscar, which I don't think she will. But her performance was really damn good in this movie, and I feel this movie should be watched alone just for her performance. So yeah, Apartment 7A, it was a bit of surprise for sure, but at the same time, I didn't love it. And if you love Rosemary's Baby, or if you really like Rosemary's Baby, give this movie a shot. Sure, it's predictable. It's the same film that you watch, but might be a hot take, and I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. I do prefer this over Rosemary's Baby because it's more modern and it has that more modern take to it, and because it kind of feels like a remake to Rosemary's Baby, I kind of enjoyed it more because of the modern take on it in a way. But yeah, Rosemary's Baby, it's a surprisingly decent movie, and this compared to last year's direct to Paramount Plus prequel to a original classic, it's better. Talking about you, Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, that garbage movie. This one is better than last year's prequel. Is it going to become like a trend for Paramount Plus to release a prequel to an old film they have the rights to? Oh god, are we going to get like a Friday the 13th prequel next? Ugh. Coming in at number 4 is going to be The Killer's Game. Now, this is a movie I didn't really have plans to watch it, but this was like this was about a this month really was about my wisdom teeth in a way because this was a week before I got my wisdom teeth removed, around a week before I got my wisdom teeth removed, and so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to go to the movies for a few days. I might as well go all out. So I did a double header, and I'll talk about the other one in a minute. And the first one that I went to that night was The Killer's Game. And I had saw an advertisement for it back when I went out of town for like school shopping and ended up going watching The Crow at a different theater. The trailer for this movie played, and it really grabbed my attention because I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, this kind of looks like a fun little action movie with Dave Bautista. Kind of looks like John Wick with Bautista, but I knew from that trailer the comedy wasn't going to work for me, and that is the thing in this movie that really bothered me. And I was like, you know what? That movie looks decent. I went and checked it out. It's a okay movie, I guess. It's not the best action movie. It's not the best Dave Bautista movie, and it's just a fun time, honestly. Excuse me. I heard a lot of people say that it's forgetful, which sure it can be. I would understand that. I understand why some people believe that it is very forgetful. But I just found myself enjoying the movie. I just felt like the comedy kind of held it back. I keep burping. I keep excuse me though. Like I felt the comedy really held this movie back for me. I'm a very tough audience when it comes to comedy. I've been saying for years that it's been dead, and this movie is a prime example that it just doesn't work well. And I felt the comedy just really killed this movie for me. And also, worst movie experience of the fucking year for me because there was only 5 other people in the theater with me, which doesn't say a lot for what this movie was going to be, like how successful it was going to be. And sure, only 5 other people in the theater doesn't sound bad. But the 3 people sitting in front of me, because at my theater, you don't get to just choose on a little tablet thing where you want to sit. You just walk in the theater, you look around, and goes, "Oh, that's a good seat." That's basically my theater. There's 3 people behind in front of me, and there's like 2 or 3 rows behind me. There was this 2 old couple. I don't think they were old people, but the 3 people in front of me would not stop talking during the movie, which it didn't bother me. I zoned them out and I watched the film. It's very easy for me to tone people out, but oh my fucking god, the 2 people behind me, like 2 rows behind me, I don't think they've ever heard words in their entire fucking life because every word that came out of these characters' mouths, they were dying laughing as if it's the funniest thing they ever heard. And I was just like, dude, it's not that fucking funny. Which, sure, they had a good experience with it. I won't take that away from them, but it shouldn't bother me. But holy fuck, trying to hear this movie and trying to watch it and just hearing those 2 people fucking cackle at every single line that's not even that fucking funny. It's just like, dude, are you guys on fucking heroin right now? Are you guys fucking high? Because holy shit, you need to see more movies. But anyways, moving on from that, and I honestly thought the action was decent. I really liked the story that we kind of got here, and it was a pretty damn good story for an action film that didn't really need comedy because you get this guy played by Dave Bautista. He's a hitman. He's kind of getting older, and then he kind of finds out he has some sort of disease that kind of has him have like seizures. Something kind of makes him lose his eyesight. Well, not lose his eyesight, but have like his eyesight kind of goes blurry in a way. And he then finds, and then he has this girlfriend that he really likes, and he wants out of the business, but he can't just disappear really. So he wants someone to order a hitman on him. So it kind of looks like that he was just killed, so no one will have to know that he had this some sort of disease. But then he finds out the doctor accidentally gave him the wrong paperwork or whatever. It was for a different patient, and then he finds out that he basically fucked up, and there's a bunch of people going to come after him, so he needs to stop them and kill all these guys from killing him. That's pretty much the movie, and it's a fun movie. It's decent, and also one final note on this movie: as a WWE fan, seeing Drew McIntyre in this movie, that was just a lot of fun. And I was absolutely heart shattered not to see him have a Claymore on Dave Batista. I was so upset we didn't get to see Dave Batista and Drew McIntyre fight in this movie. That would have been awesome. That movie would have gone like 3 spots higher on this list if that happened. I was really upset about that. But yeah, Killer's Game, it's a decent time. Comedy didn't really work for me. Action was good. Dave Batista was pretty good in it. It's a fun time. Coming in at number three is going to be one of my most anticipated films of the year, and that is Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Now, the original Beetlejuice, I said his name 3 times. Uh-oh. Anyways, the original Beetlejuice for me is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. It's possibly my favorite Tim Burton movie. I have so much nostalgia for that film. That is one of those movies that I have one of the best stories with, which I'll probably say in a review for that film whenever I want to do it, which I was a bit bummed that I didn't get to it, just time happened around that time. But yeah, that original film is one of my absolute favorites. And when they announced this film, I was a bit cautious. I was just like, really? Do we need to make this movie now? Why are we making this? Is Tim Burton desperate to make another film? Is this his last resort, really? Because he's not been making very good movies. He's been kind of forced to do remakes, which none of them are all that very good. And are Warner Brothers kind of just hoping for money because their last DC films flopped with The Flash and Aquaman and stuff like that? Are they just hoping for money? Which the original cast is coming back, which is a good sign, but I just didn't know what to make from this film. But trailers slowly started to come out. We got our first look as Michael Keaton back as Beetlejuice. We started seeing all these first looks, these trailers, and I gained a lot more hope for this movie. And in the end, I liked it, but it has its issues. One of the biggest issues for me, and which was one of the biggest takeaways from this movie for me, is that this movie has so many subplots that end up going nowhere. They introduce something, they do something with it for about maybe 2 or 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, and then they get rid of it as if it never happened, and any execution that we were hoping for, it goes nowhere. And that kind of really bummed me out because when I got the trailer of seeing like Beetlejuice's ex-wife, which I forget her name, but she kind of looks like something from Corpse Bride and something like that. She kind of looks like the wife from Corpse Bride and all that. Like I saw her in the trailer, and then you find out, and when you kind of listen to the advertisements, you find out that is Beetlejuice's ex-wife, and she's kind of coming after him for revenge or something. And that was one of the biggest things I was really excited for. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna probably be fun. This is probably gonna be a good time." But she maybe has like 10 minutes of screen time, if that. It honestly felt like they wanted to make this movie 90 minutes at least, and so to make 90 minutes, they got all these random subplots that they didn't really need, and they just jammed it into it and make 90 minutes, and they also kind of have things going on to get this character to here, to basically get from some characters from point A to point B so they can all meet in the afterlife. That is basically every subplot in this movie, and that really bummed me out, and there's a lot of things in here that could have been taken away, taken out of the film. It would make no difference to the quality or to the film itself. None of that. However, everything besides that, I had a damn good time with it. One of the biggest surprises for me of this film was Michael Keaton, which I never doubted him. I was just more nervous, just like to see how he would do because, like, this guy has not stepped into the Beetlejuice shoes in a long time. And the guy is, like, almost 80, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's in his 70s, if I'm not mistaken. But, like, when you see that, he was, like, maybe in his 30s when he did the first Beetlejuice. He's now a lot older. Like, is he ever gonna be? Is he even gonna be that good? And I was pleasantly surprised how well he was easily just to step inside the Beetlejuice shoes once again, because that guy did pretty damn good, if you ask me, because it was great to see him. It was great to see him have that energy. This guy just goes balls to the walls with this character, and I absolutely love it. And Jenna Ortega seeing a new face in this film, I thought she did great. I really liked how a lot of her character really reminded me of Wednesday, not because she played Wednesday, but her character kind of has moments to where it reminded me of Wednesday. Probably didn't help that one of the writers for this movie is also a writer on the Wednesday show on Netflix. Probably did probably had something to do with that. But yeah, seeing all the new characters come back, adding new faces to it, Beetlejuice was a solid, nostalgic flashback that it's nowhere near as good as the first film, not whatsoever. And also, I really like this part about the movie. If you know the controversy with the guy that plays the dad in the first movie and the principal of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, then you know what happened. I won't go into details with it. Go look it up for yourself if you so wish. But him not being in this movie, I felt they did a very good job of kind of adding him into this with like stop motion animation. I tip my cap to you guys because that was very fucking smart of you guys to do. Coming in at number two is probably one of the biggest surprises of this entire year, and surprisingly, one of my favorite horror movies of the entire year, and that is the remake of Speak No Evil, the Blumhouse produced remake. Now, I have never seen the original. I still haven't. I have heard that the original from this one is pretty different, especially with the ending from what I hear. I don't know anything about that. So, I've never seen the first one. I just knew this movie was a remake of a foreign film, which is kind of odd because the foreign film is apparently spoken English, but the actors and the characters have like Scottish like accents from what I'm hearing. I believe that's the accent. It's an accent, but it's spoken English, so it doesn't make any sense to why you would remake it, honestly. It's not spoken in a different language, so sure, it's a foreign film, but it doesn't need a remake for basically what I'm hearing, because, like, just, like, even from someone who hasn't even seen the original, I was like, that makes no fucking sense. So, and also didn't help that Blumhouse's name was on this, which they have not had a very good year, unfortunately, because I used to like Blumhouse, with, the last few films have not been it for me. And, the only thing that kind of had me interested was James McAvoy. That was the only reason I kind of thought about watching it, but I didn't really plan to. And so around the time kind of snuck up, and people were saying that it was actually really good. It was actually one of the best horror movies of the year. It's one of Blumhouse's best produced movies in a very long time. I heard that it was even better than the original, which I haven't seen, so I don't really know what to take from that. So I was just like, okay, fine, I'll check it out. And this was part of my doubleheader that night. I went and watched the Killers game, and also this weekend it was the weekend I went and watched it was the final weekend my local drive-in was open. And so I was just like, you know what? The drive-in, it's only open one more weekend. Might as well go watch it there. And it was playing there along with Beetlejuice. So Beetlejuice and Speak No Evil were the last two movies playing at my local drive-in. So I went and watched it. And I gotta tell you, I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it because I was watching it the entire time and I was like, why is this good? Why am I enjoying this? Why do I want to go watch the original now? Because this movie was good. I still haven't watched the original. I don't really care to after watching this remake. Because it's like I ended up really enjoying this movie. James McAvoy, you should just be watching this movie just for him alone, because he is brilliant in this movie. I love it when he plays these type of characters, these psycho-like characters, like his character in Split and Glass. Like, I love that he does movies like this. Like, I really hope we get to see him do more of it in the future, because he was just brilliant in this movie, and he was the biggest positive for me in this movie. But the one thing I did not like about this movie was the characters. These characters make some of the dumbest decisions because, like, when they think something is up and they think these guys are kind of acting weird and they don't like the way they're acting, they don't like how they're kind of treating their own kid, they don't like the way they're talking to their kid, and they do nothing. They just let it happen, and they just kind of fucking sit there and let it happen. It's just like, no. If these guys were yelling at their own kid and just like not consulting him while he was crying, I'd be yelling at them, but like, dude, be a better fucking parent. What's wrong with you? Like, it just pissed me off. I was just like, dude, you were being smart. Your wife is being smart, saying there's something wrong here. I want to leave. I want to go home. I don't want to come back here. And that's just that. And the dad's just like, no, no, let's give them opportunity and all that. She's like, no, listen to your wife. These people are fucking nuts. Leave. Like, that was the entire time I was thinking. But other than that, this movie was just very good. I honestly really enjoyed it. It was one of the biggest surprises of the year so far. It's one of my favorite horror movies of the year. And I might end up watching the original at some point because I do want to watch the original and then the remake and see what the difference between the two are. But yeah, I ended up really enjoying it. James McAvoy was great in it. A very good psychological thriller. I ended up really enjoying it, and if you were cautious like me on watching it, it's definitely worth a shot because I really enjoyed it. But surprisingly, my number one is Transformers 1. Now, I will be honest here, I'm not a very big fan of Transformers. I've never really been a big fan. I can't my likeness or love for Transformers kind of got killed because of the Michael Bay movies because I did not grow up with like the 80s animated series. I didn't grow up with the 80s movie that was from the animated series. I grew up with Michael Bay stuff. I grew up with the Bayverse. I grew up with the first three. I grew up with the fourth one. I didn't grow up with the Last Night or whatever. I didn't watch Bumblebee until the Rise of the Beast came out last year. And I ended up enjoying that one. So I'm not a very big Transformers fan, so I didn't really care to watch this movie. And then, kind of like Speak No Evil, I saw some reviews. People were saying it's one of the best films of the year, one of the best animated films of the year. I saw some people saying that was the best Transformers movie ever. And I was just like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I went and watched it on a Sunday after leaving from a little trip that I took with the family, and that was the first thing that I did. When I got back, I was like, okay, I'm going to the movies. And so I went there, and I sat there, and I was the only one in the theater, surprisingly. And I was sitting there, and after it was over, I went, holy shit, why was that good? Why is that one of my favorite movies of the year now? This might end up being in my top 10 films of the year because I did not expect that. Advertisement for this movie was terrible compared to the actual film. Paramount did this film dirty because I watched that trailer and it looked like a generic kids animated movie. That is not at all what this film is. It has moments like that, but that is not what this film is. And I'm seeing those box office numbers, and it's slowly getting there. It's slowly getting that marker to where we can have a great trilogy because after watching this movie, I need that trilogy that they talked about because there was a sequel in talks before the movie even came out. They were just waiting to see how successful this movie was. Please, for the love of God, go watch this movie because I need that trilogy. I don't care if it goes straight to streaming. I just want to see a trilogy because this movie was awesome. And one of the things I was very nervous about this movie was the voice cast because you're not going to get Peter Quillen as the voice of Optimus Prime, who is one of the greatest voices in movie history. You're not going to have him as Optimus Prime. That had me very skeptical. Chris Hemsworth, I will never doubt you ever again because he did pretty damn good because I thought he was very good. But the huge standout in the MVP of this movie was Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. That guy, if there was ever an Oscar for best voice actor, he should win it because he is awesome in this movie. He is awesome. He gives off one of the best voice acting I've ever heard from the series, and it's just great. I honestly ended up really enjoying this film. It it should be a crime that I love this movie as much as I did, and I don't think it's a hot take or a bold take. This is my favorite Transformers movie, and if that says a lot from me, because I'm not a big Transformers fan, and if a non-Transformers big fan like me is saying that, then you know this movie is good. And if I'm saying that it's almost in my top 10 of the year, then you know this movie is good. Thank you all so much for watching my ranking of all 5 September movies I watched during this month. Let me know what movies you watched during the month of September, and let me know how you would rank them to comments below. What was your favorite movie of this month, and what was your least favorite movie of this month? I'm very much looking forward to the month of October because that is the Spooky Mama season. Thank you, 3C Films, for coming up with that classic line. I use it a lot during the month of October. So, yeah, we are officially in October. I'm very excited to see what movies come out then. But thank you all so much for watching my video of all 5 September movies I watched. And if you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe and the bell notifications so you will get notified for all of my latest videos. And, of course, until my next video, see you all next time.